Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk about part 3 of the Behavior Change Project, which is due soon. All right. All right. You all know the drill with the SMART goals. And so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is you definitely want to remind us what was your desired outcome and what were your SMART goals for the behaviors that could lead to the outcome. If you've had these perfect in part 1 or part 2, just copy and paste right here and remind us of that. If you had feedback on it at part 1 or part 2, or you altered things at part 2, you definitely want to use that feedback right here and roll that into number 1. Number 2, you kind of know the drill on this one too. It's the progress on your specific measurable outcomes. So whatever your self-monitoring strategy was across the days, you want to post that here in a way that we can see progress over time. If there was ever a point where you had any blips or you had any struggles, we would be able to see that. Please do give us a little text and narration so you've got the visual of your behavior across time, or also your desired outcome if you measured that across time. Give us the visual and then give us a narration. Number 3, I want you did a little bit of this in part 2. I want you to think about what were the interventions that you used? Were they cognitive behavioral therapy, acceptance commitment therapy, interpersonal therapy, if you were doing any kind of like social support, that type of thing? And I want you to name the intervention, and then I want you to describe, was it working well for you or was it not working well for you? Um, and so you did a little bit of this in part 2. And then if you had to tweak it at all, if there was a point in time where you realize, okay, I'm doing this intervention, I'm doing my monitoring, something happened and it wasn't working very well, so I added in another intervention to try to improve it. So not only sort of saying whether it worked or not, what adjustments did you make across time, and when did you make those adjustments? That would be perfect here in number 3. And then in number 4, this is where I really want you to think about what you've done for yourself personally in the Behavior Change Project and the things that you've learned across the class. And I want you to start to pull it together. So really, what have you learned about behavior change for yourself? What have you learned about behavior change for helping other people? And I really want you to kind of analyze that right here in part number 4. And this is the new thing that you've done. You haven't done this in part 1 or part 2. This is the brand new thing. And I just want you to tell me really what have you learned, because ideally, I hope that you have used this project not only to make some changes in your life in a healthy direction, which would be awesome, but then also what have you learned for the purpose of this class. And that's it. If you have any questions, get in touch with me. Bye, everybody.